Diapers on a Plane. Hi, welcome to episode 46 on Diapers on a Plane. Today we're going to be telling about our top 6 favorite hotels.
Yes, we are going to be talking about all the places.
Best favorite hotels.
Yes, our favorite hotels that we've stayed around the world. Now we had to narrow it down because we've stayed in lots of different places, but there are 6 of us and we stayed in our 6 favorite hotels.
And this is a great time to talk about hotels because we may never stay in one again because pandemic.
Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the great content we have coming up. And we've got some great stuff planned.
Indubitably. Okay, here we go. So seriously though, we mentioned we're gonna have a big change in the format of Diapers on a Plane, but we're not counting travel out entirely. So at least once a month, we want to have some travel-related content, and we thought it would be fun to talk about some of the hotels that we've stayed in our travels around the world.
Now, all of these are available to book. We're not saying exactly when you can book them, but check in the description below and you'll have links to all of these great places. So let's kick it off.
Oh, it's worth mentioning too that we were not paid to talk about these places. However, if they would like to pay us in the future for talking about them, we would not say no, but these are not paid advertisements.
All right, so we are gonna go down our list. Now, number 1, make sure you watch till the end because the number 1 place we've stayed is amazing, and it's an amazing story. Now, this is not clickbait. We promise you, this truly is an amazing story, and we will share that with you on number 1, but we are gonna start with number 6.
These are our top 6 favorite accommodations that we stayed at around the world.
That's right, friends. That includes Airbnbs and hotels. This list will primarily list hotels, but so there were some Airbnbs that definitely need to be mentioned.
All right, so we are gonna get right into it. This is the number 6, and it was in a little place down under.
Yeah, it was Bondi Beach. I don't know if these kids can remember.
So she was little. She was like 6 months old.
She was tiny, but they were too.
So they were 4. They were 4. She was about 6 months old. So we went in our summer, which is Australia's winter. And we had no idea what we were getting into. We did have a friend that lived in Sydney, and we were just trying to book a reasonably priced Airbnb. Luckily it was winter, so it was off season. And we ended up in the famous Bondi Beach.
Bondi Beach.
And not only that, but we were right over the water and it was gorgeous. So we were celebrating, it was 6 years ago. So we were celebrating our 12-year anniversary. And we could see from our hotel room, we had a balcony, we could see right out onto the ocean. So it was so beautiful. It was really cool.
So this one definitely, I think was...
No, this is in Australia, Bondi Beach in Australia.
So what did we love? What was our favorite thing about this? I can tell you mine. Mine was obviously the location. The place itself was okay.
Yeah, it was 2 stories. It was nice. I mean, it had a lot of fun amenities. I remember we tried Vegemite for the first time there. They had bedrooms. It was nice because it had separate bedrooms. It had lots of places to sleep. It had a full kitchen, of course, because it was an Airbnb. But my favorite thing about it was obviously the view, but we were just steps away from the coastal walk. So we could walk all the way across the coastal walk, which is this big rock formation that goes into like the little downtown area. I remember we got Mexican churros there. We had the best fried fish and chips there. It was all fresh. It was all local caught. So that was one of the greatest, just sheerly because of the location.
Location. It was fantastic. Watching the surfers in the morning and then taking those trails around Bondi Beach. Mm-hmm. There was this crazy swimming pool there. Do you remember?
Oh, yes, icebergs.
And Catherine lost her swimming suit there.
Oh, that was beautiful. I remember that. I love that swimsuit.
We should talk about all the things you've lost at these accommodations too.
Okay, well, the swimsuit was that
Catherine
one.
is notorious for losing things.
I am, yeah.
I'm going to try and mention something she's lost at each one of these. We'll see if it works.
Once at the airport, she lost her phone.
Well, she's lost her phone many times.
I can't even remember that.
I lose a lot of checks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I left one in the bathroom at the airport once.
That's true.
Yep.
2, 3, jump!
It's okay, come on. Mom, I don't have to hold my breath.
Good! Our nice camera on the
Cameras
plane.
on the plane. We've left
Cameras in a
suitcases on the plane.
taxi. Yeah. All right, next up. Okay, so number 5, our top 5 favorite accommodation is actually a tie. And this one is between 2 Hyatt properties. Now we've
And
stayed.
then somebody picked their phone back up.
Hey, you got to stay on topic. Okay. All right, this is a tie between 2 Hyatt properties. Now we do like to stay at Hyatt. We are card holders. We think they offer great benefits, and so when we have free nights, we tend to use them. Well, we always use them at Hyatt's because we have to, but we tend to book Hyatt's as often as we can. So when we first signed up for the card, you were gifted a free night at any of their category hotels. So we went back and forth about where to go. Of course, we wanted to go to the Maldives, but it was a little out of the way, and our night was expiring, and you had to use it when it had availability. Anyway, so we ended up going to Aruba, and the Hyatt Resort in Aruba is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, it was phenomenal. Do you guys remember Aruba?
Remember they had the talking parrots, and they had the iguanas everywhere.
But they had a lazy river there.
Yeah.
We would go on the
And there was a parrot in it.
Not in the lazy river, no. That would
No,
have been cool,
I mean like in the like hotel.
Yeah.
They did. They had parrots all over the place down there, and
Yeah.
they had iguanas all over the place. Just an amazing deluxe accommodation there.
They had fish you could go diving with. I think they had like this whole area you could go diving and snorkeling.
Is this the place where we petted the dolphins?
No.
No.
Or is this the place where we went on lazy river when you were pregnant, and we went on the floaties down the river?
No, that was Jamaica.
Oh, I remember this place. I don't remember this place.
You actually were not born yet, so this was in no, she was, because we hiked up Mount Huiberg. I remember you held her most of the time.
No. I was older. I was like 4.
She knows.
Okay,
I was 4.
I think she was a little.
I was 4 when I'm thinking.
Okay, so it was the year we went to Aruba, the same year that we did all that other stuff. We went to Canada, we went to Arizona that summer. It was that same summer.
My favorite thing about the Aruba hotel, it was free.
Yes, it was free. Now the room wasn't the greatest. I mean, it was teeny tiny, like a lot of I swear, the more you pay for a hotel, the smaller room you have. The less you pay for a hotel, the bigger room you have. That is like a word to all the traveling families. If you need a travel hack, choose the cheapest room.
So why did you pay a lot of money?
So because the resort is phenomenal. You have beach access, it's private beach access just for people who are staying at Aruba. It's right on the main strip, so there's tons of restaurants all within walking distance. I remember there was this beautiful tree outside that like grew sideways, and the kids loved crawling on it.
So the kids will know this. It was very similar to the Cypress Hyatt in Florida.
Yes.
So what do they have there? Which is the one that ties for Aruba.
Yes.
So what do they have at the Cypress? Do you remember?
A talking parrot.
Well, the talking parrot. That's all the kids remember, of course.
Rock climbing, kayaking, a really big swimming pool.
Lots of water, not just kayaking. They have all sorts of water vehicles. They have big water trikes with big wheels.
Standing up kayaks.
Yep.
So they have this
Yep.
So you would say they have this huge yard with a rock climbing wall and a splash pad, and then they have this huge with a really fun water slide. You gotta be 48 inches to go.
Yeah.
They
So
have 2
That didn't get to go
hot
on.
tubs.
So that is tied for number 5.
Yeah.
Both of those Arubas are phenomenal. Both of them have a resort. So you go to this amazing place. You're on Aruba, the island. You don't have to leave the resort. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. You got the beach. You have everything there. In Florida, you don't have to go to Disney World, I guess, because there's so much to do all day long there. So if you want to take a day off from going to Disney World, you can play at the pool. You can go golfing, bicycle riding. They have so many activities for you to do.
And they're all included. There is a resort fee, but if you use your free night like we do, then the resort fee's included. Parking's included. Everything's included. So again, both those hotels, not the biggest room, but a phenomenal resort. Absolutely fantastic.
And we always go to this Latin cafe called Sofritos, and it has really good churros, and you can top them with hot chocolate or you can top them with hot chocolate or caramel.
Yeah, and it is within walking. It's a little bit of a walk, but you could definitely walk there. It's great, and you could technically walk to downtown Disney too, which we've done, although it's a bit of a stretch. It's a little far.
You get an Uber, boom.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, it's Uber Central at Disney World.
So now we are on to number 4. Number 4 is one we recently just barely stayed at, and it's the one we celebrated Christmas at. So if you check back a few videos ago, you will see that we decided to splurge for Christmas. So we decided to splurge for Christmas, and we decided to rent out an executive suite at the Regency, the Grand Regency in Orlando. So there are 2 Regencies. The one we just talked about is the Grand Cypress Regency in Orlando. It's a resort. And this one is the Hyatt Regency. It's on, it's like on the Universal Strip. It's called International Boulevard, and it's beautiful. It's got a beautiful pool that's huge. And one thing I really loved about it was warm, even though we were there in December. But the thing that made this so great is honestly that we splurged for an executive suite. The rooms were just normal, standard, 2 queens, a couch, like a normal Hyatt. But we had been saving up hotel points for no good reason, and we decided it was as good a time as ever to use them. So it was actually a very good deal for the points that we used.
I don't remember this one.
We were just there, dude.
This is the one we celebrated Christmas at last year.
Oh yeah,
And how there was a couch right where we put the Christmas tree. And we slept on the couch that night because I wanted to wake up because I wanted to hear him. But I did hear him.
So our favorite thing about that hotel?
Space.
Oh, it was massive.
It was.
I got a Murphy bed from on my Mario for a few nights.
And me and Widmore slept on the couch.
For some reason they wanted to sleep on the couch. They didn't have to.
Yeah.
But they wanted to.
So we're very utilitarian when it comes to hotels. Typically, for the most part, we like to have enough beds for the kids, and that's one of the reasons we love Hyatt. Again, this is not a paid advertisement, but you can always get a room with 2 beds, a pull-out couch, and then there's a sleeper on the side. So the bed comes out of the middle portion of the couch, and then there's a side part of the couch where another child can sleep. So
technically it was 2 rooms, so we had a suite, but it had a door separating. So one of them was more of a standard hotel room, right? Mm-hmm. With the king, the pull-out couch, and all that.
2 queens and a pull-out.
It was still really big.
Yeah, it was still a nice bed. It was a standard Hyatt.
But then the room next to it was like a family, like penthouse conference type room. So it had a Murphy's bed, but then it had a lot of living space. It had a little living area with a couch and a coffee table and a TV, and then it had like a little kitchenette. Now the only had 2 TVs.
Yeah.
And the couch had a queen pole.
And it had 3 mini fridges.
Yes, it did, which was great. The only thing that I will say that is not a positive about this hotel is it had a little kitchenette. So it had a sink and it had a little bar area with stools. It would have been really great for them to have had like a toaster. It just would have been nice to have like some silverware or utensils or some plates, just a little bit something to make it a kitchen area. As it was just a bunch of empty cupboards, and it kind of seemed useless. Like, I don't know, I'm just not going to bring a bunch of stuff to.
And this is why it has been downranked from 2 to 4 in our list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3 is Costa Rica.
Yes.
Where we stayed in a tent Airbnb.
Yes, it was a suspended tent treehouse.
So like a tent. Yeah, a tent.
It's like a tree house, and then
Do you guys remember it?
Tent.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw
And then it had like a giant tent over it.
I'll tell you one of the things. We'll show some pictures in there, but we could describe this for a little bit. One of the things, we're actually really close friends with the host still in Costa Rica. So what did we love about the treehouse in Costa Rica?
That the top was really big and it had a bunch of beds.
The treehouse wasn't your typical treehouse. I think the owner had actually built these in legit trees in Canada before he went to Costa Rica. But what he did is he took basically a radio tower pole, one of those 3 poles. It's hard to describe, but he suspended it looked like a circus canopy up there. So you climbed a ladder up through the center, and around the middle of it was the kitchen, the bathroom, and the showers were built all close to the pole, so the rest of the living area could suspend off of it. And it had like bug screens and canopies that came down, so there was a queen bed. It's actually very spacious.
Yeah, and
not very precarious.
Yeah, you could close up the windows at night or in the mornings if you wanted to, but then you could unzip them, and you could see out onto the property. Now he lives in this gorgeous, lush, tropical paradise. You can see just miles of forest in every direction. It was absolutely gorgeous. He had banana trees, mango trees, all these beautiful trees growing everywhere. He had goats on the property.
Chickens.
Yeah, and we could watch him go milk the goats in the morning. The kids went down and helped him. They loved it. He had animals everywhere. So it was, if you're a nature lover, if you're an animal lover,
I do that too.
you did, and you loved it, yeah? We had so much fun, and we loved learning about his lifestyle. And like Gabriel mentioned, we are still good friends with him. We've been chatting with him a lot. I did say at the beginning of the video, you can check out any of these and rent any of these accommodations. However, this is the one that you cannot, because he's now converting it, because we are the unusual few that liked living in a suspended treehouse. So.
Okay.
He's actually converting it into a 3-story house. So that's the other thing I wanted to mention is that
And then there was one more floor where we slept, and part of it was cut off, so there was a hole, and then there was ropes around it, making crisscross.
those are netting.
Yeah, netting, and then you could walk on.
Yeah, three of the beds were actually rope nets above on the second floor. It was really innovative. It felt like it was a mix between roughing it and it was just one of the most unique experiences, one of the most unique accommodations we've ever stayed at, and we talk about it all the time, incessantly.
So he does have 2 other properties though on site. So he has this gorgeous full home that he's built also that's also suspended, and so you go up from the base, and that's like an elevator. So there's no ground floor, but it's a circular home, and you just see the views everywhere. So it's absolutely gorgeous. It's about an hour outside of San Jose, and we just highly recommend it. And the owner is just amazing. You can every night he has a campfire, and you can roast marshmallows. He has a pool that you can go swimming in on the property. He's more than willing to share, his life stories, which are so interesting, and he's just a lot of fun. So definitely, if you're going to Costa Rica, we can't recommend these properties enough. All right, so let's move on to number 2. Oh, did you want to say something about it?
Our room was pitch black, and then when I was on the bed, I was looking up, and I saw something, a big black thing moving on the ceiling.
Oh, it's probably a lizard or something, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're really outdoors.
Or the bugs. They were the jungle bugs.
Yeah.
I remember I had to go.
But it was too big to.
All right. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Now, this one, before we tell you what it is, Gabriel used to work for a little company you might have heard of. And when he worked for this little company you might have heard of, we did get some perks. And we used these perks on this particular occasion to get a phenomenal discount at this property. So we were very excited to go, and we're very glad that we took the opportunity to do it when we had a chance. So where was it?
Did I catch a lizard?
No, you didn't.
Okay, let's move on to number 2. All right, so who can say what number 2 is? It's on a little island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Hawaii?
Hawaii!
Yeah, so our number 2 favorite. And it's so hard but it was Alani. It was Alani Disney Resort.
Yes. So we decided to stay in a 1-bedroom suite, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So they had trundle beds in the living room that came out of the walls. There was a fold-out couch. The bedroom in there had a full king in it. It had a full kitchen, and then it had a little kitchenette table that came out just next to the kitchen. It was super cozy. It was the resort there at Alani is incredible. They've got, a bar right there by the pool, and we got, what's it called? What are the strawberry margaritas called? Or no, the strawberry pina coladas. Volcano. So you want to get a volcano pina colada.
And they've got everything. So what they've done such a good job. Hawaii is such an amazing place to go. There's so much to see, and they do a great job of not wanting you to leave the resort.
Yeah. They've got water slides, lazy rivers. They've got a kids club there, aunties. And we did not at that one, because even these little ones were only 2 at the time.
They were pretty young.
Yeah, so they were not able to even go to the kids club. They do have an open time when everybody can go and check it out and play for a little bit, and they had a little playground there. But Alani just was a fantastic resort. They had lots of classes that you could participate in. We made some lace. We did a lei making class. The whole resort is just phenomenal. Every night they would have storytelling with Uncle, and you'd go around the fire pit and he would tell amazing stories. They had more snorkeling there, a lot like the Hyatt in Aruba. They had snorkeling there that you could do. Really just an all-encompassing, beautiful resort. It is not an all-inclusive, but there are beautiful, delicious restaurants there. You can meet a lot of characters there. Mickey Mouse was there. It was just a lot of fun.
So I think they took a lot of cues from the cruises.
Oh yeah.
Because they went over the top on everything. I think the Antes was very similar to the kids club you had on the cruise, so you could feel safe leaving your kids there. And they had excursions. They had tons of paid excursions you could go on, which we didn't because we had small children. They had the lazy river. They had ukulele playing at night.
It was just so beautiful. It also had beach access, so you were right there on the beach. And they had created kind of a cove, so it wasn't like there weren't waves. It was just really calm.
So definitely Alani was one of the top 10 places we ever stayed. And we had a heck of an opportunity to go there.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about going back, and we just haven't been able to make it happen, but it's definitely something we would love to go back to, and we would tell everybody that wants to go that it's worth it. Do you guys remember Hawaii at all? What I remember about going to Hawaii is that we had to fly, again, because we fly standby, we had to fly to Los Angeles first, and then we took Hawaiian Airlines. And I remember it was just so easy. Everybody talks about how hard it was to go standby, and we had those amazing onion chips on the flight.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Ready for the penultimate favorite place we've ever stayed at.
If I was there, I wouldn't have chose cookies.
Okay. I love you.
So to start rolling, our number one favorite hotel. This is an interesting one because before we get into it, how long did we even stay in this hotel?
As long as possible.
As long as possible, which wasn't very long. Was it like 8 hours?
No, it had to have been
hours,
longer
maybe?
than that. It was like 2 a.m. until I think noon. So yeah, 8 hours.
So here's the story. Where were we coming back from? Was it the Aruba trip?
No, France.
Oh,
we had just spent a month in France.
So we just spent a month in France, and we're trying. Oh, that was not fun getting home.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a beast. So
Okay, this was flying standby can be brutal at times, but we were trying to fly standby. We even had a hard time getting to New York.
Yeah, so we had to leave Switzerland. We flew out of Switzerland, and I think it was actually straight to New York, or did we have a stop? I can't remember.
I remember waiting a long time to get on a plane, though.
Yeah, and I don't remember if we stopped in the UK first. I don't remember that part because the ending was so fabulous. This is what I remember, and cut me off whenever you want to say something. We left Switzerland. I remember that. We flew out of Geneva, Switzerland, and we ended up in New York. And we had an agreement because the flights from New York to Salt Lake City looked so bad. We had an agreement that we would go to Boston. We didn't need to be home. We had more time off. And so we were going to go to Boston for a few days. It's somewhere that we wanted to go for a long time and walk the Freedom Trail and do some world schooling. And we had an agreement that if we couldn't get on the flight to Salt Lake City, we would go to Boston. When we got to New York, flights looked bad. There was no way we were getting to Salt Lake. This guy was exhausted, and I was exhausted too, but I'm always ready to go on another trip. It doesn't matter, okay? He unilaterally chose to go to Vegas instead.
I was coerced
by some other people.
by your friends.
Yeah, but
By
it
your
wasn't
friends.
me.
So some of Catherine's coworkers
No, not.
were actually in the same boat we were. They were trying to get back to Salt Lake.
No, just wait.
New York is a hub for
some crackers.
for the airline that she works for. And so they had this great plan to get a cheap hotel in Las Vegas, stay the night, and come home.
And so he chose for us, and I was pretty upset about it. I felt like we had this decision, we had decided to do it, and then he flipped the switch.
Yes.
So I was a little upset. So I was like, you take care of it. Fine. I'm not going to figure out where we're going to stay in Las Vegas, and I'm not staying the night in the hotel.
So
I'm not staying the night in the airport.
I had figured it out before. There was this new app that came out for phones. I'm not sure how good it is now, but it was called Hotel Tonight.
Okay, so this was 7 years ago.
Okay, so they had a promotion where if the first time you book a hotel, I think you got $15 or $25 off. So
I didn't have any parts to
So
do with
I was able to get a hotel room for the night. Okay, so I was able to get a hotel room at the Flamingo in Las Vegas for $15 with this discount I got for using the Hotel Tonight app. And that was our goal to get there. I think we ended up getting there even later than we thought we would.
Well, so the flight was delayed. So I think we were supposed to get there at like 10 p.m. Our flight was delayed, and then it was on the Strip, and the airport's not on the Strip, so you have to take a shuttle to get to the Strip. So it was a little bit convoluted. It took a bit. With the delay on the flight, it was brutal. We didn't get in until 2 a.m. We actually toyed with staying at the airport because the next flight out was at 6 a.m. and it was the best looking flight to get back home. And we were so exhausted and frankly angry at that point.
But we decided, 3 or 4 hours of sleep was better than nothing, especially with the kids. It just did not sound like something we could physically do.
Yeah.
And so we went to the hotel. I think it was around 2 a.m. when we got there. Mm-hmm. And, Catherine was livid.
Yeah.
And I gave them my my driver's license, and they just kept stalling.
Yeah, they were just like behind the counter
trying to find
typing
room
on the computer. Dude, I don't know what to do. Like, you're a little late, and I'm like, so what? We still paid for a hotel. Like, I didn't care. It was $15. Like, they were giving us a room.
Oh, it was exhausting. So we're standing there. We probably had these bloodshot eyes and these little...
Yeah, we're holding two little babies.
Sad little babies that really needed a room.
Finally, he comes back, and he's like, we're out of rooms. And I'm just like, oh, no, you're not. You're not out of rooms. Like, I was like, we paid for a room. You're getting us a room. And he's like, let me check what our sister property has. So he left. He left again. I mean, the guy had left like 5 times already with Gabe's ID. Okay, he comes back and he's like, okay, we were able to get you a room. And I'm like, good. Just get us up to the room. I'm tired. I just want to get in the room. So he gives us the key. And he gives us, they give you the hotel key and they put it in the card and they had a number on it.
Too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought they did. So he's like, well, we need to take you up to the room. Okay, go back. So he gives us the key, in the envelope. And he's like, we actually need to walk you up to the room. And we're like, you're weird. Okay, whatever. So he walks us up to the room and we're going up the elevator. The nice floors are on the high floors and we're just going up and up and up and up. And he's got a key that he's got to swipe in the elevator to get to like a restricted floor. And we get out of the elevator with him and we end up in
the presidential suite.
The presidential suite.
Yeah. So it was like 2,700 square feet.
Oh my
3
goodness.
bedrooms, 3 jacuzzis.
The jacuzzi
had like a west and an east wing on it.
Yeah, it was so big. Like I took a bath to cool off, and my feet did not touch the other end of the tub.
And
like it was a swimming pool.
And keep in mind, we're in the presidential suite, and she's still furious. Yes, you were. So what ended up happening was there was probably about 100 feet separating 2 of the bedrooms. So I slept on the king bed with the twins.
It was more than 100.
Where we could have screamed at the top of our lungs and she would have never heard us on the other side of this hotel room.
Yeah, it was like 2 stories. It was like 2 stories on the other side.
And so we were supposed to wake up at like 3 or I think 5 in order to make it back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And we're like, nope. Late checkout, please.
Yeah, we took the latest checkout we could. So Gabe slept in a room with like 3 beds in it. The twins each had a bed. Gabe had a bed. I slept on the opposite wing. No idea anybody was in the other part of the hotel room. It had a kitchen. It had 2 living rooms. It was absolutely...
It had a den.
Yeah.
Like a study in it.
It was like had like a sunken room. It was absolutely phenomenal. Now,
paid $15?
We paid $15, except we did have to pay a resort fee. And I'm pretty sure we paid $25.
Oh, did we pay $25?
I think so.
Wow.
And we were just like, done. So we got...
Yeah. So, this is our number 1 favorite hotel of all time because we will probably never stay in a hotel room like that again.
Yeah. And
unless the Flamingo wants to send us to reminisce.
And we paid... I think all in all it was $35. So I think you might have paid $10 for the hotel on Hotel Tonight.
I think it was a total of like $35.
Yeah, and I remember when the guy asked us for the resort fee. No, I think this is what happened. I just remember he asked us for the resort fee and I was like, are you kidding me? You kept us here at the counter for like a half an hour. You don't have a room for us and now you're telling us to pay a resort fee. I can't remember what the sequence of events was, but he's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, if it means we get a bed, just fine, whatever. And then we were like, oh, we'll big resort fee, that's fine. So I remember we slept in as long as possible. In the morning, Gabe went to go get an Earl sandwich because we were on the strip. And then we stayed as long as possible. And we were able to still get out on a flight. Even though the morning flight looked the best, we still were able to get out that day, made it back to Salt Lake City after the greatest night in a hotel room of our lives.
So long story short, even just listen to Dad. Okay? Sometimes he makes good decisions.
It was a great decision. I I love that story, and I do have to give it to him. Like, we would never ever would have had that experience if we hadn't have changed plans.
So those are our 6 favorite accommodation, hotel, and Airbnb experiences. Have you had anything crazy like that happen?
Yeah, we would love to hear about your top favorite hotels, and let us know in the comments what you think about ours. Have you ever stayed in a presidential suite, and what did you think of it? All right, thanks for watching. Please, again, like and subscribe for more great content. What we do have coming up is we're also going to go over our top worst hotels. If you thought this one was good, wait till you hear that one.